Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. So as you guys are well aware, the Aliexpress sale for August 2023 is literally around the corner, perhaps a few hours away. And so for this video, I've actually been wanting to do this for a while. It's actually called the best of the brands, and it's off the back of a video that I did about 9 months ago, which was the 30 plus best Seiko homages out there. So this idea has been floated around since then, and I think it's the best time to do it. So with these watches, we're going to look at the best 3 to 5 pieces from the most popular brands on AliExpress. Now, these are handpicked. About 99% of them are watches that I've looked at myself. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be a lot of watches, way more than the watches that I recommend, that are actually quite good. You might agree with some of my list, you might disagree with some points, but again, this is just my opinion of these watches. So I've kind of carefully selected. As you can see, I've built a list on AliExpress, and I've gone through, just the cream of the crop basically. And the brands that we're going to be looking at are actually Steeldive, Heimdallr, Sugess, Seestern, Proxima, and San Martin. So the top 5 brands that everyone does look at. I mean, there's a lot of others. I mean, Boltony, for example, does stand out, which I'm actually going to probably miss, but I have to also consider the timing as well. So I don't want to make this video too long. And with that said, also I'm going to put into the link at the end of the video, or I'll put it up, as you're looking at the video right now. A very good video you actually want to go back to is the 30 plus best Seiko homages, because that was quite a long video, and if you just look at the comments, the level of detail and information in there is really going to help you out. And I've basically handpicked, used my hours and hours of experience looking at these watches and chosen the best ones, in my opinion, which are ones you should go for. So that combined with this, you'll have a total list of really awesome watches to consider. Let's make a start. So the first watches that we're looking at, as I said, we are looking at the classical Steeldive. And I'm assuming you know about these watches as well, guys. So it's going to be quick and easy going through, pointing at anything which I think is relevant. So the first one is the Steeldive SD1970. There's nothing else you can say it. I mean, this watch is so good, it's actually started a lot of YouTuber channels, because this is one of the first watches they all get into review. Now, yeah, it's unbeatable, right? Nothing else to say about this. I mean, it might go down to £56.72, which is ridiculous when you think about it. NH35 ceramic sapphire, full steel. I personally prefer it on a tropical rubber strap or a waffle strap. Not too fussed about the bracelet on these. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Second one I look at is when we look at Steeldive, and these are a lot of the older models, and I've not really kept up to date with all the newer models, but nothing has really changed. So these are again proven and tested watches that I'm showing you guys. So the SD1971, it's a Seiko Sumo homage, and even though there are others with this, but you can't go wrong with the Steeldive, guys. The case quality is incredible, bezel's awesome, the loom is awesome, the handset used, the dial, everything is just so good. 120 quid, you can't go wrong, especially if you wanted a watch like the Sumo. It's equally matched in terms of dimensions. I did do a few comparisons with these, so that's another one to definitely keep an eye on. Next up on the Steeldive roster, we've got the 6105-8000, I believe, right? It's called the SD1977, and I reviewed this maybe last year, which is when they released it. Comes with a whole bunch of colors, but I don't like Steeldive's colors. I don't like the blues and the greens. I feel they take the seriousness out of the watch, if that makes sense. So I'd go for the black, and again I'd go with a rubber strap like the vintage tropical or the waffle. I don't know what these are that Steeldive sell. I can't stand these straps with the big holes in there. The bracelet's not too bad as well, but again, I'd prefer them off the bracelet. But really good watch, very well made and very impressive. And the price, £106, a bit pricier than the SD1970, even though it should be the same thing, but I think it's a newer watch from their side. So next up, when you come to the tuners, Steeldive has probably got the best value for money tuner. And I've just chosen this particular color option because it just looks so different. You've got the black and orange combination. Again, great bezel action, great loom, great build quality. And between this and the Heimdallr and all the others, there's not much difference at all. Just the bracelet on the Heimdallr is much better, which I've covered in the video on the best Seiko homages. But you get this on Engineer bracelet, change the clasp. I believe they have upgraded the clasp, but I'm not too sure again. And as far as tuners go, this is a really solid buy from Steeldive. Next up, we've got the SD1979. This is the Squale Homage. I reviewed all three pieces when they came out. Now, this one looks good in all colors, right? The black and orange, the green and orange, and also the blue and orange. I, again, would put them on straps because the bracelets don't meet at the end links. So, personally, I don't like that look. However, yeah, good bezel rotation, good loom, really good aesthetics. It's a very nice watch as well. Quite small, not overly sized. I think, what is it, 42 mil? Yeah. And you know, fully specced out, ceramic, sapphire. But there's many versions you can look at. And of course, Steeldive do a lot of great watches. But again, for the purpose of the video, I can't cover everything. So that's it. We're done with Steeldive. Let's tick them off. Some very classical models there. Next up, let's hit Heimdallr. So Heimdallr have been a bit quiet recently. That's because they're not just Heimdallr anymore. You'll notice they list a mix of brands now. They do Ixendau, they also do Thorn. So I'm sure there's a couple of affiliations in there that, you know, we're not too clear about. However, watch in question, you guys remember when this Heimdallr Monster came out? Absolutely smashed it. Love these watches, and the thing which Heimdallr did, they did capitalize on the different color options. So you've got a bunch of Gen 2 monster lookalikes, and you've also got Gen 3 monster lookalikes. You've got PVD coated, you've got all sorts of colors. These watches are really well made, and they definitely fulfill that need for a monster. And of course, you don't have to pay, you know, the prices that they're getting now. I mean, this frost style version is one of the best ones you can get, and it's a truly stunning watch and so well made. I did a three-way comparison, guys, so if I remember, I'll link all these little videos in there on the top right hand corner for you to check out. There's a wealth of information there for you guys. So next up from Heimdallr is the classical SKX 007. Initially when they came out with the SKXs, there were a few issues, but now you can see they've even toned down the colors a bit. You've got some really nice colors, the blue, the black. They also do bronze versions if you're interested. You've got lovely green and blue. Now, I have checked out these SKXs and they have improved the bezel rotation now. The dial and handsets have been always incredible, and the bracelets, okay, as well, semi-decent. But yeah, it's 420 quid. It's a really good diver. If you like the classical looks of the SKX, this is the upgraded version basically with the ceramic sapphire, and you know, this cool skeletonized shark logo, the zombie shark, whatever you want to call it. Comes with two options as well, a Jubilee style bracelet and also a oyster style bracelet. So take your pick, and you know, reasonably priced as well. Moving up now, got the Captain Willard Homage, and Heimdallr's version. A few people did like it more than the Steeldive version, but the only one I'm picking out is the Frost version here. So you can either go for the blue or the white. They look stunning. And if you get the actual blue one with the blue bezel and this blue Frost style, I actually reviewed this one with a blue tropical strap. It's unbeatable. The rest are turtles, which are kind of mixed into this listing. So I'm not looking at those really. I'm just actually looking at the, you know, Captain Willard homages, particularly the Frost versions. They've got the MM style dial and the handset. The handset is so high quality. You've got the brushing on there, you've got the polished edges, and also the dial is from Heimdallr is so impressive. If you want to search on their website, you'll also find the classical versions where they've got the standard color options, and they do have a chamfered dome crystal with an aluminium bezel, which did split a lot, you guys, depending on, you know, what kind of aesthetic you were going for. So that's done. Now we've got the Street Tuna series from Heimdallr, full titanium. I did review this piece. So with regards to this tuners, if you don't like the size of the older tuners because they're too big, you know, this version is a bit smaller, it's a bit more compact, and I love this color option. The gray and orange really does make this bezel pop. It's full titanium as well, very light. Quite a lot of loom and very high quality dials used, and also the handset, and I really did like this. I reviewed this on my channel. Got the Data 6 as well, some really unique features, and a really good option if you don't want the full fat tuner, getting these smaller Street Tuna series watches. And they come with the tropical straps, and although summer has gone, it's still a great option. The blue one looks good as well, and as does the black, but I do really like this grey and orange version. And so this, if you haven't seen this already, it's the Godzilla homage. Amazing watch, guys. It works so well. It looks so good. It is a bit big as well. It's 45 millimeters, but it does fit a smaller wrist due to the compact lug to lug. What you need to pair this with is an Uncle Seiko razor wire strap. Please check my review. This is what I had on there. This was given to me by one of the subscribers to review. And I personally like this frost version and also the red one. So it's got those, you know, straight lines going through the center. The handset is exceptional, so sharp. It really does add so much to the watch, and also the markers. There's just so much detail in there, and the case is beautiful. NH35, you know, polished edges on the handset, brush centers, awesome loom. So this is definitely one to check out. The last one from Heimdallr, I remember the hype around these, and I did a huge comparison as well. I think I used the Heimdallr versus the Pagani versus the San Martin or whoever else was around. So this is the full titanium Sea Ghost NTTD Homage. Very different, you know, they did put their own twist on this. Bezels are a bit iffy on these watches. I don't know if they've improved that now. I mean, out of a batch of 5, you'd get one or two which do have a slightly stiff bezel. That's because it's quite thin, and also it is titanium. A whole host of colors. It does have a lot of AR coating on there, which does, I mean, if you get the black one, it doesn't really get in the way. It gives it a nice blue tinge, as you can see in this picture. Comes with the mesh strap, also with NATOs, very light, and you know, it looks really good because of the box hat sapphire. High quality handset, dial, and the bezel insert, so that's definitely a good option. Some of them are 180, 165, whichever one you wanted to go for. It is slightly up there in terms of price, but I think it's got really good looks. So now we're moving to Proxima, and the first one, right? I mean, these are in no particular order, obviously, is the Christopher Ward Homage. I did have a chance to review this, and this is probably the best-selling watch. They sold so many of these because they're just built so good. So the PX1697. Now there's new color options. You've got this fume green, which I think looks awesome, and you've got this black as well, which again looks phenomenal. It's got the standard Proxima text on there, no funny unicorns, no funny fonts. Seriously, if you haven't got this yet, I'd definitely say get this. It is worth every penny of this £173. It's going to be on for sale when the sale does start. And these two new color options are great. I mean, the bracelet's awesome as well. They've definitely taken a page out of San Martin's book with the top cap finisher on the seconds hand. Look at the brushing on that seconds hand, sorry, on the minute hand and the hour hand. Very high quality watch, guys, and the bracelet is awesome. It's milled clasp. They did really outdo themselves on this particular version. They've got this skeletonized dial, which is semi-transparent. You know, same case as the one we just looked at, but this does have a slightly different aesthetic. It's got a sapphire bezel insert. That's a clear acrylic dial. Super sharp handset. So this uses Dauphine hands. And as I said, the same case. You know, it's the same thing, but just a very different look. Coming up next is we've got the classic NM300 Homage, the SBDX001 Homage. Absolutely love these watches. Now I've got myself a SBDX017, as you guys saw. I will be doing a comparison, but it's not going to be anytime soon. So I would definitely opt to get this. It's made so incredibly well. They've got rid of all the a million options that they used to have. So now you've got much simplified options. Go for the plain black or the black and gold. You will not be disappointed. Last one, maybe worth mentioning, guys. It's the Proxima's version of the Tuna. The bracelet is rubbish. Don't go for that. But the case is really good. So out of all the Tuna homages on there, Proxima's is the highest quality. They've got a monoblock case. They also use, I think, that a stem collar system to secure the crown, because you have to undo this from in the top side of the case. You've got fully polished bezel insert, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm sure you can speak to them and they'll give you another one. So you've got a ceramic one. The shroud, it's all about the shroud on Tunas, guys. So number one, the bezel finishing is awesome. Second, the shroud is the best one going, right? Because you can see, whereas on the others the shroud sits up straight almost at 90 degrees, this one does have a really nice taper, like around 45 degrees maybe, but it's also polished around the edges. It's had that refinement, silky smooth around the case. So this Tuna on wrist definitely feels so refined. And then that solid dial, very classical looks, super bright loom, really nice handset, just makes this watch look so good on wrist. Let's move on to Seestern. I'm not going to open up these watches because Seestern does have quite a few watches that I'm going to be talking about. So we've got the sub 600T, £100. That can't be right. That's absolutely ridiculous. I think this is the choice stuff. But yeah, £100 for the Sub 600T, guys, with the version 3 slightly bigger handset. No brainer. Such an awesome watch. If you're in the market for a slightly, unconventional dive watch, obviously they've homaged the Doxa 600T. This watch is awesome. Great bracelet, great bezel, great lume, great, overall everything. Like I said, it is version 3, so I had a couple of issues in the early days. You got a mix of ceramic inserts or steel inserts. I really love the black and orange paired with a, either a black rubber strap or an orange rubber strap, but they managed to execute this homage so well, almost getting down to a T. Awesome watch, guys. So £100 on the choice. Again, you can't go wrong, can you, guys? You can't go wrong. Next up is the Doxa Homage. Nothing got to say on that. Done a full review on this. That's definitely one considering. I mean, it has been a while since it's been released, but it doesn't take away that it's still a good watch. But again, 3 versions to this now. Then next up is a 62 Mass. Yeah, again, reviewed this thoroughly. I love this watch. £130 in the sale. That's an incredible price. 144 for the bracelet version, but you don't need the bracelet version. You can go for the rubber straps, and Seestern do have some of the best FKM rubber straps. These are actually German rubber, and they feel awesome, guys. Awesome, very good on wrist. In fact, I use these straps on a lot of my other watches, even though I'm not a huge strap monster myself. Yeah, great colors. The gray looks particularly nice. The red is such a different take on a very classical design. Okay, so we've got that done, and then the last few from Seestern. So this was the Steve McQueen homage. Again, really well built. I think quite a lot of people like this because of how accurate this watch was. Awesome brushing, fully brushed watch, great lume and great build quality from Seestern. And it also has the on-the-fly adjustment clasp. So all that considered, for £176, that's a great deal. Now, moving on to Seesterns, I'd say their best value for money diver, which was the S434, the Glashutte homage, which I reviewed. Made so well. Great color options, great bracelet with the on-the-fly adjustment, fully lumed bezel and dial, etc. I mean, it gives you the full shebang. Only issue that I had with this was the crown was just a touch small, but aside from that, no other issues at all. So this is definitely a watch to consider if you haven't done so already. Now, the last one on Seestern, a bit of 50-50 right from the subscribers, but if you look at the reviews, 214 sold. We've got 34 reviews, rating at 4.8. The overall price is £215. Again, I've done the review for this. It actually uses the NH38 movement because it's a dateless design. They've captured the dial and the bezel insert so good against the Pelagos, the watch that they're homaging. Female ending bracelet. So this watch is actually really well made, and also a great bezel rotation, great bit of lume on that dial. The only issue they had was with the clasp. The micro adjustment on one side was a little too low, which gave you a larger gap, but that has been addressed now. And they sent out clasps with those guys that had the version 1 clasp, so that's been improved. I do have a 3-way comparison coming, so stay tuned, guys. I'll put a post out on my YouTube community feed. But 250 definitely worth considering, considering the issue has been fixed, and it's so close to the watch they're homaging. Impeccable execution as usual from Seestern, aside from a couple of glitches they experienced. That's it now. So before we move on to San Martin, let's hit Sugess, because I do have a number of Sugess watches. So we're going to roll through them quickly. So Sugess did a GMT version of the one that I showed you guys from Seestern. Now, between them, they are linked. They're brother sister companies, so it doesn't matter which one you get. It just comes down to branding. But this blue dial, which is the one I reviewed from Sugess, was really nice. The orange and yellow do really make it pop. Build qualities awesome, and also do a white dial in this with a black dial, so you can take your pick. £176 for a really well built watch. It's slightly less than San Martin as well, actually quite a bit less, because San Martin also do a version to this, but once you have this, you don't need the San Martin version. Now, next up is the Zenith Homage 37mm. Use the Seagull SD19 movement. Amazing watch, guys, amazing. Love the case shape, love the finishing, that sunray coarse brushing around that circumference or the outside of that A face. On bracelet they look good as well, but also on the canvas straps they do look slightly better, or leather, depending on whatever you choose. Awesome color options. Yeah, £180. It is worth it because the watch looks so good and it is so well built. So next up on Sugess is the bracelet homage. I didn't actually get to review this because by the time I got around to it or wanted to get it, everyone had reviewed this anyway. Awesome watch, guys. Great looks. I think it's the top time homage. It's got a couple of color options. This is the newest one. So funky. Check that out, man. You've got blue, cream, orange, and it goes well together, right? And Sugess are the actual kings of SD19 movements. They use the swan neck movement, which is basically a swan neck regulator on this. So if the movement is running a bit out of spec, you can actually fine tune it. But aside from that, really well built, great steel work on the case, and also that crystal is awesome. But I mean, don't just listen to me, guys. There's so many reviews on this watch, and it's the first brand that introduced the SD19 movement to me. It has a see-through case back, so you can see all the beauty of this mechanical hand winding chronograph. So yeah, that's definitely one to consider. Is one to consider on every sale. Really, £155 is something you can't go wrong on. And the last one or two from Sugess, I'll be quick with this one. So this was a watch that I reviewed. It's a classical watch. I didn't know what it was homaging, but I can't remember now, guys. 38mm, again, same movement, exceptional build quality. But the last one from Sugess, guys, is definitely this. This is the Blank Pawn Homage, the Fathoms chronograph. This is slightly larger due to those extended lugs, around 51mm if I can recall. I think the watch size is 40 or 42. Can't remember now, guys, but again, full review done. I prefer this black one. It's got a bit of zin in there as well if you look at the needle hands used, or those pilot hands, but the typical hands are using these style of watches. You've also got one of the smoothest, right, 60 click bi-directional bezels I've experienced. The case is full of these beautiful chamfered polish highlights with this brushing. Again, I'll point you to the review, guys. Boxstyle sapphire crystal. In totality, the watch looks amazing. It's such a well-built watch from Sugess. But you have to like the slightly larger dimensions. So it states here quickly. Yeah, you've got a 42mm case diameter. It's only 11.5mm thick, but 51mm for me was just a bit over the top. For my small wrist. So if you've got anything above 6.5 inches to around 7 inches on wrist, then this is definitely one to check out. Highly recommend this. And the last one from Sugess is a watch I haven't looked at. However, I do plan on looking at it. I believe it's a high beat as well, but it's got this lovely aventurine dial, starburst. It's also got a Moonphase on there, sharp Dauphine hands, and a date in the center. A very unique look. That very dressed up look. Great finishing to the case. I'm gonna try and get this one into review, but it does look stunning. £120 in the sale, 125. But ST2528, yeah, that is, I believe, a high beat movement. V3 with a, what is that? Oh, loomed moon background. That looks stunning, guys. Have a look at that picture there, where that moon actually looms up. I'm definitely gonna get this in, guys. This looks awesome. So that's it. We are done for Sugess. Now let's move on to, let's leave the best till last. Let's hit San Martin, guys. So sorry. Now the complete last one from Sugess, guys, is the Daytona Homage. It uses the mechanical automatic 7750 clone movement. They've got a new version 3, which is slightly slimmer and more in line with the original watch. It is pricey, but out of the 100 or so sold, 4.8 rating. I mean, if you look on the Seestern store or the Sugess store, they've sold even more than that. And after my review as well, everyone who did buy one, confirmed what they saw on that review. This watch is awesome. It's built so well. It's one of my favorite watches in my collection because I've got the version 1 and it's still running with no issues. So definitely one to check. So now we can move on to what many people deem to be the king of Aliexpress is San Martin. So first one I've picked here is, if you like the subs, right, you like the sub homage, then this is the one you need to go for. This is the creme de la creme of the sub homages on Aliexpress, and San Martin have given it to us. It's got the GL5 titanium helium device on there as well. It's got PT5000 in there, or the SW200, £278 in the sale. On the PT5000, it also has the on-the-fly adjustment, and they've also got an option of either using the sword hands or the Merc hands, and they've got this red text TC4 on there. But the big better thing with this is also that they use a black enamel dial. I reviewed one of the other sub homages that they did like this, but they used that grayed out dial, and I wasn't a fan. But with all these new features there, you know, the bezel's going to be awesome, the bracelet's going to be great, although slightly edgy. You know, you've got a no date design. However, using a P5000, it does have a date, so you'll have a ghost position. But you know, aside from that, everything else on the watch is top notch. You know, high dome sapphire crystal, and even the underfly adjustment. So it's an awesome watch. But if you don't want to spend 300 odd pound for this, they do have another with exactly the same specifications, minus the titanium, and minus the PT5000 with NS35, coming in £162, guys, in the sale. So normally 193, but 162 after on sale. So this is definitely one to go for. There's no doubt about it. You know, the ultimate sub homage. It also doesn't feature the helium escape valve if you don't like it, but it does have the on-the-fly adjustment. So yeah, definitely one to check out if you are, you know, if you want that classical sub look. Next up, from San Martin, I reviewed this long time ago. It's the MM300 Homage. What makes it so good and different from the Proxima? Well, it looks slightly different. Does have a screw-down case back. It's got, you know, the bezel characteristics and the crown characteristics of the LX line of Marine Masters. 44mm case diameter, and it wears really well. High quality bracelet, as I said, slightly edgy though. But the looks, you know, it's got the older clasp, which is a full-on tool watch clasp. It's also got the huge shark on the case back. So this watch is definitely worth checking out if you like the MM300 look. This is a, you know, their own take on this, so they've mixed, I think, a bit of the LX in there to really make it stand out, and you know, high quality dials as well. Next up, I mean, this watch has been reviewed plenty of times. It's the 6200 diver, 38mm. They've got rid of the rivets. They've done a few versions to this, so oyster style bracelet, fully brushed with, you know, a few different colors now. Great bezel. It's NS35, dateless, so a ghost position on there basically. But yeah, overall really good watch. £180 in the sale. You know, definitely worth considering as well. Next up from San Martin, I gotta jump around a bit, guys, because they're saved in a different order. So yeah, so we've got a couple more. You know, the San Martin 40mm GMT, didn't review this, but you know, I've seen plenty of the reviews on it. Bit pricey, 255 in the sale, so you are getting a £45 saving, I think. If you want NS34 and you want that level of finishing from San Martin where everything is near perfect, definitely want to go for as well. It comes with a 5-link bracelet. You do have other options on the store, so please help yourselves and explore. But yeah, very good vintage looks, and it's also got that bakelite style bezel insert, which is a really nice touch. Another one from San Martin is the one I just recently reviewed. It's the, you know, crossover between the Seamaster / Marine Master, in my opinion, or the new Planet Deep, whatever it is. Nice colors. I would opt for the blue, black, or the green. Not too sure about the center color, but it is different. Bracelet was awesome. Case finishing awesome. Bezel rotation okay. I just had a slight ting, you know, to my one. And there was not much I could complain on this watch, in all honesty, and it did take me by surprise on how good it was. £177 in the sale. Definitely check this one out, guys. If you know, check out the review as well, so you can be sure. Last one from San Martin. This is, you know, I think the most original you're going to get from San Martin. It's just under 40mm square watch. Gorgeous waffle dial, guys. That red on the second hand definitely makes it pop. Great sort of fume feature to it, you know, where it goes to black on the outside, but the real color shows, you know, nicely on the inside. I'd go for the blue. The watch case is incredibly well finished, and you know, the dial design is good. Hands, you know, San Martin's quality. And at £230, it is a bit pricey, but you are getting a lot for £230, guys. Bear in mind, you've got the PT5000, this level of finishing and quality. I mean, the NS84s are going for, as you saw, 240 plus. So this is a great option. If you don't like the particular style, you can also go for the older one, because I believe the older one had a much better bracelet and it's slightly cheaper as well. With I think, is it the PT5000 movement in there? Yes, it is. And there's only one colorway as well, which is the Sunray Grey. So this is your chance to get quite a bit of a bargain here. And that bracelet was actually the best thing about the watch. It was really well made, but unfortunately they got rid of it for the next batch. But you know, a very unique watch to try on. So that is the end of the list, guys. We are done. I know it was a bit hectic. You know, appreciate everyone staying awake for this video. I'm just going to bring you one last one. It's the Thorn BB58 Homage. For £100, guys, it smashes everything at the park. Get yourself an S38, get yourself a 28.5mm dial, and you know, happy days, mod away. The case is exceptional, bezel rotation is really good, bracelet's good, everything about this watch is quite good. The clasp is a touch small, but you know, it's something you can live with. And you know, even if you want to keep it stock as it is, or you want to mod it, guys, it's a very good base build, just to give you the awesome looks, great dimensions as well, proportions. They've done really well on this watch. £103, this is another no-brainer. So that's it from me today, guys. Make sure you check out my video on the 30 plus best SKX Homages. Also, that's really going to help you out this sale. And also check the rest of these out. If I come up with anything else, I'll be sure to post further on in the week. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.